Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good afternoon, rather.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, we're just waiting for a few more minutes for more participants to join, and then we can get started.
Sure. I think, yeah, we can wait for another 2 minutes and we can quick start. People might join later. And I'll look at like someone is trying to join it, I'll admit them. Okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's about time. We can get started. So, thank you, everyone, for taking time off your good Sunday afternoon, and then having the patience to join this session. Primarily a demo session on Microsoft Power BI. So the session would be for 1 hour, and we would cover the aspects of what Power BI is and why Power BI, and how the tool is going to be in terms of a demo on what you will be able to learn from it, and also just a slight tour of how you would go about building some of your content onto the Power BI platform, and what it is that you intend to become by learning this tool, and what is the skill set that you're trying to enhance, as well as what does the training entail, how long it is going to be, and what are the aspects it's going to cover, and how is the support going to be. So that's going to be the overall gist on the focus for this particular demo session. I hope it's going to be of use to you. I hope you get to take home some learnings from the session, and just assess yourself whether it would be wise for you to invest some time in going through a training content on this technology. Yeah. All right. If that sounds good, let's move on. Okay. So before we get on to the Power BI aspect of it, just a small introduction from our side on who we are. So we are from Kalki Tech, primarily a technology-driven training and solutions company, whose core intent is to basically enable people who are career-oriented, very driven, and then especially the folks who are ready to join into the workforce, be it students who are coming out of college or be it freshers who are trying to enter the industry, as well as having our focus towards trying to cross skill and upskill towards career migration from different technology streams onto a technology of their choosing. So we are made up of a team of highly professional industrial expertise, carrying over 2 decades of experience with experience working in multiple geographies across the world for most of the Fortune 500 clients, especially focusing on the data analytics, business intelligence, and emerging technologies part. So that has been the forte, and the intent is basically just to bring out our experience, what we have done in the industry in the past, what we have gone through in terms of solutions and the complexities and other things, and make it a very practical learning experience, and not just trying to go through a textbook driven content in terms of delivering content. Rather, try to share experiences of what we've seen in the past, what are the complexities that we've seen in the past, to make folks readily relatable in terms of going and talking to other people in technology and trying to put their skills into use, to better enable themselves into positions where they can achieve success in whichever technology of their choosing, right? So like I said, the complete focus is on technology training, software development, and also we are coming out with our own products in terms of the training space on primarily in terms of after training support. So in most of the training areas where it is content driven and just the delivery of content, and that's where it ends. But here we are trying to go above and beyond in terms of integrating a lot of AI-driven interfaces, and then enabling continuous support after the training period ends as well, which we will go through a little later in terms of how those products look like. So that really stands us apart in terms of the regular training experiences that you might get also. Right. So that's a very brief background about ourselves and where we come from, and then we can get on to the Power BI aspect of it. Now, before I get into the Power BI aspect of it, Power BI basically just falls into this area called business intelligence. So I would like to understand the group cohort or the group demography, like who they are and what are the different backgrounds that they come from. But for those who don't know about this area in totality, Power BI generally falls into this business intelligence aspect of it, which is a larger, which is a smaller subset of the broader area of what you call it as data and analytics, right? So if data and analytics is a broader scheme, then business intelligence is a smaller subset of it. So what is business intelligence focuses? It is a technology-driven process which helps you to analyze data and present actionable insights. So right. So this is where the actual data analysis happens and actually get some meaningful information out of the data, and then basically using that information you take some decisions or you take some actions which helps you drive your organizational goals forward, be it a sales target, or a revenue target, or even cost cutting or profit maximization, customer retention, whatever it is, whatever the end goal of a business is. This is the front ending or the user facing applications through which people are making these decisions, right? To put it in a very simple term, basically this is the area where you end up creating all your reports and your dashboards for people to see, and then they end up taking decisions based on the numbers and the different information that they see on reports and dashboards. So how it is broadly done, you have organizational data cluttered across the organization in various different shapes, way, and form. you will have information in Excel, you will have information in cloud systems, you will have information in enterprise databases. So a lot of these informations are scattered across in different places. The core intent of business intelligence, or the end goal of business intelligence is to consolidate all this information into one good shape and form, so that at the user level, at the end user level, they are able to visualize it, they are able to read that information, they are able to understand that information, and then using that information they can take some decisions, they can take some actions to drive their business forward, right? That's the whole setup of it. And that's why you see when you typically see a dashboard, it is not just necessarily coming from one Excel or two Excel. Usually it comes from a plethora of different data sources. And if you see the origin point of all those data sources, it might be coming from various different business systems that are sitting across the organization, right? So that's the core intent of the business intelligence as a concept. And why it is important? Because that's what drives your business, right? So every day you need to take decisions based on the business you are in. If you're running a hospital, you need to see how many beds are occupied, how many patients are coming in, how many patients are going out, how many patient surgeries were successful, right? What is the capacity of your bed utilization is, right? And how is your pharmacy doing, and how is your surgery rooms are operating, and how is your quality control being maintained. So all these informations are different data points. At any point, you are today using a lot of different systems, different applications and softwares to maintain these areas, right? So there is a visitor management system, or there is a hospital management system, or if it was in the case of a retail store, or if it's a company, if it's the case of a retail company, then you have the POS where you actually go and make some transaction and where you pay through the credit card. So you have information coming from there. You have the stock information, maintained in Barrow's management system, and you have your ERPs, you have your HR system, plan system. So many different systems are there, but somewhere it all needs to get connected and then finally be presented as one consolidated simple information to the end user. That user could be anybody, could be the most lowest person in the organization, or could be the most highest sitting CEO kind of position in the organization. But they need to be able to look at this information, identify the hidden trends or patterns that are coming across, and then take decisions which improves their overall revenue performance, sale performance, or even operational performance. If a company has 1,000 stores, they need to identify what are the low performing stores, so they can cut off all those low performing stores, so they can improve their operational efficiency, right? And if they're running a marketing campaign, they need to understand how the response for those campaigns are running at an ongoing basis, at a near real time basis. So they need to take quick actions, quick changes, so that they can make their marketing campaigns more efficient, right? So all this kind of operational work that goes behind the scenes are all part of business intelligence, which are fed through the different enterprise systems that are giving the data into the business intelligence area. So these are all critical systems without which the business will suffer in terms of their operational running. It will be very difficult for a business to scale without this kind of business intelligence setup. Right. Right. So I talked about business intelligence. So where does Power BI fit into all of these things? Power BI is one of the many tools that are available in the world, which caters into this business intelligence area. Right. What is the predominant goal for this Power BI though? The intent is to take raw data. Raw data, when I say raw data, the data that is available as is from any of your source system. It could be a target plan Excel that was created by one sales manager for a particular reason, right? Or it could be one ERP data that is coming in, all the sales orders that came into over the past 1 month from the ERP system, or it could be all the account transactions that went out of the bank account from the finance system. So it could be any of those data, right? But they are just received as is in the form of how they are sitting inside their independent systems, right? And those raw data are brought into the Power BI area, and then they are transformed, clean, massaged into a way, shape, and form that makes an end user consume that information in a very simple way, in the form of a report or in the form of a dashboard, to come up with to produce that insight, so that they can take decisions to move on and create better outcomes for the organization. So the Power BI as a tool is entrusted with performing these activities to get the raw data and then make all this massaging, transformation, and all those things, and then end up creating beautiful looking dashboards or reports and whatnot, and then serve it to the end user so they can take those decisions that are required for the organization. Right? Is Power BI the only tool which does this? No, it does not. There are plenty of other tools, lot of other tools in the market. So then that begs the question, right? So when there are so many tools, why Power BI? Why Power BI is because as of today, it is the most popular, widely accepted and widely accepted BI tool and used BI tool across the globe today. I can say this for sure. So you can take any company in the world that you imagine. I would imagine that they would have a Power BI setup or a Power BI dashboard in most of the cases. The reason being, Power BI is owned by Microsoft, and Microsoft has packaged Power BI into their Office 365 kind of portfolio. Office 365, I'm sure all of you would have heard it. It's basically the plethora of productivity tools, right, from Microsoft Office. Do you know any company which doesn't use Outlook? Do you know any company which doesn't use Microsoft Excel or PowerPoint? Right, so pretty much it's ubiquitous, right? So it's used everywhere. So that means that tool is in demand, and just along with that tool, Power BI is also easily available for them. So most companies prefer to use it because it's a single stack that comes from Microsoft, right? And it is one of the most easier tools to master and perfect as well. But before we get into that aspect of the Power BI development in itself, what I want to briefly touch upon is a bit of history in terms of why Power BI, right? So if I want to get you into this business intelligence journey, right? So BI as a practice, it is not something new. It has been in existence for so long. I mean, probably I would say about 40 years now, maybe 40, 45 years, ever since the beginning of 1980s, early 1980s. So back then, we did not have these kind of fancy dashboards where you see these charts and graphs and other things and all, the ones that you're looking at the screen right now. So you didn't have all that kind of interfaces. The only thing that you had was basically just a table, a simple Excel table. And it was generally given to people in the form of a report, right? So when I say a report, in a lot of companies back then, it was even printed out, right? For board meetings, for official meetings inside the companies, there would be some software that was installed on one IT person in their PC, and that BI application, the early BI applications, used to create those reports, and then they would just generally take a printout of those reports, and then they would use those printouts and then take Xerox copies and then share it across the organization. That's how old back then it was. And then later, as technology started improving, and then it was still remaining inside the individual PCs. You had to install a piece of software to actually open these reports and see it for yourself, until the invent of web browsers in the late 90s, right, or the mid 90s. So once internet came up, then these dashboards and these reports primarily moved into browsers, right? So you didn't need to install any software in your own PCs or laptops anymore. You could just open the browsers and then you could have access to those reports directly, right? So you had companies like Business Objects, Microsoft's Crystal Reports, and you have MicroStrategy, and a lot of data stage and other things and creating reports and solutions like this. But it was always about using a report or a dashboard, so on and so forth. So it went on like that until the early 2010s, But the core problem that organizations faced was creating a report and creating a dashboard was a technical endeavor, right? Like a technical exercise, which means only a person who knows how to write software, only a person who knows how to code was able to get this done. That means every organization needed a dedicated IT team. That IT team had to collect requests every quarter or once a year, blah, 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 whatever it is, right? So, literally, if you are running a department, if you are running a function of business, and then you want one report to make your decision making easy for you, it means you need to place a request to them like at least 6 months ahead or like at least 1 year ahead so that in the next year budgeting, they could just allocate some resources to get that report done for you, right? And then every time you need a change, then obviously you go back to the queue. So by the time one report gets developed and then you get your hands on it for everyday use, you are looking at anywhere between 6 months to 1 year, right? So it's just a long time. So lot of pre-planning and other things would be required to have that kind of setup. And there was always a barricade to entry that only IT people or the people who know coding, can create reports on that. But during this phase, since the 1990s and 2010s, people were always using Excel. Excel was much easier, right? What they used to do, they used to download the data. They do all this kind of VLOOKUP and then pivot tables and other things. They would try to look at the data on their own. Then in 2010, some companies, including Microsoft, started thinking this is a big gap in the market, at least in the product space, that when people are already exposed to Excel kind of interfaces, right, or already know how to work on Excel, why can't we bring that same Excel kind of experience into this report creation, dashboard creation? And that's what ended up creating a tool like Power BI, which was launched in the early 2013-14 kind of time frame. So the intent behind Power BI was to enable not just a person who's technically strong, like someone who knows coding, to come and create reports and dashboards for them, but also to include any non-technical user, for someone who does not have any knowledge on coding at all, who is completely, not software savvy. They could also come into the tool. They could just connect to some data and they could just create these kind of dashboards by simply doing some drag and drop exercises. So that was the sole intent of creating Power BI kind of tool. So the package or the area that we used to call back then, or where how we bucketed Power BI was, it was a self-service analytical tool. This means you're cutting off the IT team, right? You don't necessarily need the IT team to build these reports for you. You just need the software. So you can directly go into the data, you can directly pull them out, and then you can build whatever visualization and dashboard that you want. And you can quickly start taking actions and decisions based on that, right? So that's the whole story or journey behind Power BI, how it came into existence. And then once this came in, then obviously it just blew up across the world. People world over inside the organization started adopting it. And now it is the most popular tool, like I mentioned. That's widely used across the organization, anywhere in the world. No competition. Other tools are far behind, right? And also it's very, very robust. So there is always a demand for this tool's skill set, at least from a profile perspective. You could use Power BI as an add-on differentiating skill set, meaning you could be a finance analyst or you could be a supply chain manager or whatever it is, right? But having Power BI as your skill set, makes you stand out among the group. At the same time, if you choose to be a Power BI specialist who is completely focused on building solutions on Power BI, who owns these kind of business intelligence area, and want to become, a business intelligence architect or a reporting architect, Power BI with being your main skill set, that is a path that you can take as well. So there are several different roles that can be, fitted into this Power BI expertise, Depending on the level you are and depending on what you want to become, you can go on to choose to do this level of specialization that you want in this tool. That's the specialty of this tool. So it's not something that's designed only for, let's say, data scientists, or like only for, core developers, or probably only for regular non-technical user. No, it's not like that. So it can cater the capability starting from a novice, from a beginner, all the way to an expert. So it depends on which level is the water that you want to get into, right? So it's completely up to you. So what does Power BI as a tool encompasses? Like I said, it's a business analytics tool that helps users to just directly connect to the data and then start visualizing themselves. Obviously, Power BI, in order to do that, it should be able to connect to multiple different data sources. So it has out of the box connectors with a lot of different data sources that are available across the world. Gives you a very, very simple, easy drag and drop interface for you to start creating your visuals, and you would be able to build your reports, do all your slicing and dicing and all, do all the drill down capabilities and other things and all very, very seamlessly. So it becomes very easy for an end user to create a full blown report by themselves. Here, like I mentioned, who can learn Power BI? Basically anyone. It depends on how deep you want to get into the expertise area, right? So if you are a student and fresher trying to break into the industry, it's a great skill to have, along with SQL. If you have it, then obviously it puts you in a great space to give you a head start among other people, and then try your journey into this data and analytics world. For working professionals, if you want to transition from one technology to another, especially on the BI area or the data analytics area, you could choose this. If you're already in BI, and then let's say you have an expertise in data analytics, which is on the database side of things. Let's say you are an expert in SQL Server or Databricks or any other database, but you want to complete your journey as a full stack guy, then you need to get into the Power BI, which is the BI angle of it, which is the reporting angle of it. So Power BI is one great tool that you can pick up to complete your profile that way. And obviously, you're as a business analyst or a data professional, if you are iterating to create products, to create reporting products for you, then this is a great choice as well. And obviously, then the others, managers or business owners who are more user focused. This tool was primarily designed for you, to help you connect to the data by yourself, and then understand all the KPIs, create your own visuals, and then derive your own insights, and then be able to take actions and decisions on it. Right? And then finally, like I said, if you want to become a proper Power BI developer, proper Power BI architect, then you have the track that you can get into as well. Yeah, yeah. So that's what sits outside of Power BI, right? So some of the characteristic of the tool in itself that I just spoke about. So coming to the Power BI as a tool in itself, what are the different components it has, and how is it set up? Power BI is primarily a cloud technology, right? It's a cloud-based software, right? Having said that, um, 90% of your development or 90% of your content creations happens outside of the cloud. Okay. So you need a software that you need to install in your laptop. With that software is how you would connect to the data, create all your analysis, create all your visuals, derive all your insights and everything, right? That's where 90% of your work will happen. So which means you need a thick client, which is you need to download the Power BI software and install it in your laptop, and that's where you will do most of these things. But once your content is ready, and then you want to now distribute and share it across the different organizations across your organization, or different users across your organization, that's when the cloud angle kicks in. So basically you are then publishing your content onto cloud, which is called Power BI service, right? And there you basically end up doing, you share, you collaborate, and then you access your the other people's content, and do all of those things. So that is completely serviced by Microsoft and Microsoft's own cloud, which is usually Azure, and the Power BI service will take care of all of that. So without service, you will not be able to publish it. You will not be able to share your content. If you want to just do the analysis on your own, then all you need is Power BI Desktop. You can just download the software and you can do all that you want. So on the left side, you see the Power BI Desktop, and that's where you create, you model, you visualize. Those are the three steps that you do. And then once you are done with that, then you push your service, you push your content into what you see on the right side, Power BI service, which is cloud based, and that's where you end up sharing and then collaborating with other users to share content and also access other content. And then finally, you have the third component, which is more from a consumption angle. Basically, all the content that you created, you could also access it on your mobile device, so which is your Power BI mobile. So using your Power BI app, you would be able to, download that content that you created. This also runs on cloud. So behind the scenes, the Power BI mobile, the mobile app you need to download, but then the connection part of it, the services part of it, you need the Power BI service. Without the service, you won't be able to, access the content. So that's basically the third component. So primarily three components: Power BI Desktop, Power BI Service, and then Power BI Mobile. So as part of your training module as well, you will see all three of these angles playing out in terms of what are the different options, how you get to create, model, and visualize. Then onto the services part, how you're able to publish your content, share your content with others, control the access, and also consume your content. And then finally, how you would be able to, give this into the share it into the mobile space as well. So that will be your final part of it. Yeah. Okay. So then we'll get into the software part of it. I just wanted to, give you a small demo in terms of how the software looks like. Maybe just connect to this, one of the sample data set that I have, and then try to create some, nice looking charts or visualizations, and then try and see if we can, answer some questions that are based out of it, right? So I have a small Excel, this data Indian e-commerce company. So I have, these are some of the data points that I already have. We can just use this data and we can try to, explore this data and see what information we can, actually get out of it, and how we will go about doing in Power BI. And inside the interface, what are the different components that you have, what are all you get to see, and what are all we might have to do in order to get some of these content up. Yeah. So just give me a minute. I'll stop the screen share and I will jump onto the demo part. By the time I bring it up, any questions so far? Okay, I will take that as no. Then we will move on to the demo piece. Okay, let me know if you're able to see my screen. Cool. Okay, so this is my Power BI screen, the one that you're looking at right now. Just give me 1 second. Let me reshare it. I think it's slightly zoomed out. I'm not sure why. Let me stop and reshare it again. Okay, Power BI desktop loading now. Okay, now I think it should be okay. So this is basically a blank screen of how the Power BI desktop looks like. So you would see in the center pane, this is called where it shows add data to your report. This is called a canvas. So any content that you end up creating will get populated here. Okay, so this is where it will end up getting populated. And then on the right side, you have panes like filter, visualization, and data, which will, in a short time quickly see how it is being used. And on the left side, these are probably the most important ones. You have the report view, where you end up creating your visualizations. You have your table view, where you would see the data that you brought in, and then you will see the model view. The model view is how you would, create relationship between different data sets that you will try to bring in. In today's example, we'll not see model view because we're just going to bring one Excel. But if you end up bringing in more than one Excel, then typically this page would be involved, right? So now here, I said Power BI as a tool has connectivity to a lot of different data sources, right? So the first thing, obviously, for me to start doing for creating my content, I should basically bring the data in, right? Only when I have data, I can start doing reporting. So let's do that first. We'll start to bring the data in. So I have this get data option. And then if I click on more, you will see all the out of the box connectors that Power BI supports, right? So pretty much in most cases, whatever that is standard, most popularly used data sources, I would imagine Power BI would already have a connector for it, right? So regardless of what type of software that is used, usually you will have a connector for this most of the cases. And this is all. So basically, it's listing all. But you can see here they've already segmented or separated it by the type of data that we are getting as well. When I say type of data, I mean by type of data source. So all the file-based sources connectors you have. So you're able to connect to Excel, CSV file, XML, JSON. You can connect directly to a folder and then pull files from there. PDF, Parquet files from big data, and then SharePoint folder. And then if you go to databases, you have a plethora of databases that it can natively connect to. Right. So for all of these databases, it has connectors. Then you have a connection to Microsoft Fabric, which is their own sort of data lake, Microsoft's own data lake. Then you have connectors to Power Platform as well. The Power Platform where they have a lot of apps to create automated workflows. Then you have Azure-driven sources, all the different databases and the type of data sources that Azure supports. And you have online services, which means most of the cloud-based data, sources or systems that are cloud-based, like Salesforce. You probably might have Workday, and you have Zoho, and you have Google Analytics, a lot of these things, right? And then you have a few more as well in the others. So they've already segmented it in such a way that you can immediately pick and choose, but you don't need to worry about all those things. You can just basically search. So let's say if I search for Netiza, IBM Netiza, so you can see it just automatically pops up, right? Or if I say MongoDB, then now give MongoDB. So you don't need to borrow all those things. So the intent behind showing this is that you have connectors pretty much for any of the data sources that you want. So today we're just going to pick up one simple Excel workbook. So I'm picking Excel. So I have this e-commerce sale. I'll key it at demo. So now it's going to just bring me another screen or another interface, which you might not be able to see it yet. I might have to reshare it. So give me a second. Okay, are you able to see any screen that got popped up?
What is the question?
Are you able to see any other Power BI screen, or is it just a blank
We
add
can
data
see
to
only
it?
the, I think the desktop one,
Only the
not any
desktop?
other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. For the share option, suddenly it seems to have vanished. Okay. Okay. Put down the whole thing. Okay. So I was clicking on Excel workbook, e-commerce, and now it shows me it basically connected to the Excel workbook. Now you can see the navigator screen, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So it's connected to the Excel workbook and what I need. So basically there's two sheets in it that Excel. I don't need both the sheets. I just need, the orders sheet. So I can pick and choose. So this is the only one I need. So here it's already showing me a preview of the data that's sitting inside. Yeah. So now I do see I might have some problem with this, data set. This one looks largely clean, but I still want to do some data transformation on it. So let's, pick and choose how we want to, shape this particular Excel to make it suitable for reporting. Okay. So then I will not directly click on load. I will click on transform data. And in transform data, so basically this will say Power Query Editor, right? So all your data transformation is basically going to happen here. Okay. So in Power Query Editor is where your data transformation and all those things happen. So all the massaging, all the cleanup, all the junk data that you might have from your data sources, those cleanup needs to be done from this interface in Power Query Editor. So here, what I would want to do is I have order date, but I would want some extra fields created as quarter, year, and other things to perform my analysis as well. Right. So I will create transform. First, I'll probably have to duplicate, otherwise it will just transform it on the same place. So I will call this month. Okay. Then I will create one more duplicate column, create quarter here, and I'll create one more duplicate column to create my own positions. Okay. Then I will apply the transformation step. So I want to call this column month. I only want the month value here. So I can quickly do a right click and I'll say transform, just give me month. Okay, so this is giving me the number of the month. I don't want this. Probably I want the name of the month. So let's see. So as you can see here, the the duplication I did, the renaming that I did, everything is getting logged as a step here. So that means the next time you open the dashboard, when it connects to this Excel, it will have to perform all these steps. So that's why it is remembering these steps in order, right? So now I don't want the number here, I want the name. So you can remove the step and it'll go back to the previous step where it was. So let me try a different transformation. So now I'll do a right click transform. I'll say month and I would want the name of the month instead. Okay. So I have the name of the month, then quarter. Here, let's say I want quarter and I will say quarter. And here, okay, now I have quarter three, quarter four, so on and so forth. But I again don't want the number here. I want the name, to be visible. So do I have an option for quarter name here? Transform. Okay, so this is no more, date field, so it's not showing me that quarter option at all. Let's see. I will change this back again. I will transform, go to quarter. Let's say start of the quarter, end of the quarter. It doesn't give me an option for name of the quarter. Okay, so then in that case, let's just, change this to a number. Then we can say replace values. And now let's say rename Q3. Okay, it doesn't allow me to do Q2 because what it did was the moment it changed it into this number, it also changed the data type of that column to a numerical field, right? So before then I make that change, I need to change the data type for this as well. So then I will select this quarter and then here data type is there. Over there I will change it to text. So now this changed to text. So now it will accept my change. So 3 to become Q3. And like that we have 4 quarters. Sorry. Yeah, 4 to become Q4. Similarly, 2 to become Q2. 1 to become Q1. Yeah. So we made all these things. So now you can quickly see it only has 4 distinct values. Here it has 12 distinct values, etc. Then I have year. I can change this into year as well. So year does not need to be, again, in nowhere I will basically just add this value of 2024 and 2025 together. So I want this at a reporting level, not at a calculation level. So I can just use this as a text as well. So I made all these changes. Then, okay, let's, for the sake of it, assume that, this is the only change I need. I will close and apply. And then I will apply the changes. Okay. So I have, you can see here, all the things that I brought in terms of the columns have all gotten populated into this data tab, right? So now my columns are ready and I can start doing my visualization and my reporting. Okay. So from the data tab, before the data tab, what you see is basically a bunch of visualizations, right? A lot of visuals are there. Let's try to do something very simple, right? When I talked about click and drag, it's just as simple as that. Let's say, for example, I want to focus on overall revenue, right? How much have I totally made? Then what I can do is just simply click on net sales, and you can quickly see what Power BI is automatically doing. It's already putting it into a visual, right? So it's already putting it into a bar graph, right? Now I can either keep it and then enhance it by trying to identify, okay, I want to understand the sales by different quarter, okay? But this, you see here, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, it's getting ordered by the total value. It's running from ascending to descending. You can at any time, you can basically change this, sorting order by Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, and then see which quarter performed the best. But we see now, if I want to bring the year as well, let's say how many years of data we have in this data set. Okay, so here you automatically see the Power BI visual, the one that we selected. It's giving me data from 2025 to 2024. And if I just simply put it on another visual here, just to understand how it looks, you would see year 2025, 2024, and you would see quarter, Q3, Q4, and Q1, Q2. So basically, we have 1 year of data split halfway between 2024 and 2025. And that's what you see here in legend. So it basically highlighted which quarters came from 2025 and which quarters came from 2024. And then you see net sales. Right? This is how it is, distributed. Now this is a visual that automatically Power BI shows. Right? Now I can simply say, no, I don't want all this crap and all. Get rid of all these things. I just want to simply show it by a pure number, like how we have it in our, dashboard here. Right? So if I want to start designing it, I can design it on my own. So I will simply just pick a card visual and I will show my overall sales like this. Sum of sales is so much. And then in my visualization, I can now go and do all the adjustments that I need in terms of where it needs to lie and how it needs to look. If I want to, create some background for it, I can choose a color. Pardon my color choice, it's probably not great. But I can do all those manipulations and basically do all my formatting changes and other things like this. And this is my overall sales, right? So if I want to split this by year, then I can add something called a slicer. And I can choose my year there. And similarly, I can also select my quarter here instead. So 2025 Q2, if I select, automatically you can see the filter is getting applied for this. Right? Then what else can I do? I can overall see how the trend of the sale looked like for those different quarters. So here I can put net sales and I can put my order date in itself. So then you could immediately see how the trend of my sale looked like as well over the last 2 quarters. Or if you want to choose Q1, you could see immediately the quarter got changed. Then what else can I do? If I want to, let's say, put another bar graph. No, I can say I will put a tree map. And then I will say I want to choose which is the most profitable city for me. So I can put city and I can put profit margin. Right. So here very quickly it shows me that probably Bhubaneswar is the most profitable city for me. At the same time, I can see from a profit margin perspective. So this is the whole of profit, which is the actual dollar figure. But I can quickly also see, instead of the actual profit, what is the profit margin that I'm getting from. So with that, I can see, probably Jaipur is the most profitable city for me in terms of profit margin. So I get 10 times more profit compared to, let's say, Bengaluru, which is only, 200% profit. So I can come up with very quick, interesting insights and trends like these, which can help me, understand the business better and the ability for me to take, better business decisions. So definitely, as the requirement gets more complex, you might have to end up creating, measures, and then you might have to write DAX queries to make the dashboard, look more appealing and make it, you know, look visually appealing and also easily consumable, but also to cater very complicated use cases as well. So all those things will come into play, and I can create as many pages as I want. And within Power BI in itself, there's a lot of AI inbuilt visualizations that are available directly on top of it. So if you take this decision tree, for example, if you add just category, then let's say it's sales, and then you want to explain this by platform, product, say, city, customer segment, so on and so forth. So if you look at this visual, it's basically giving you an analysis of the net sales, and then you can choose to analyze where your sales is coming from. So if you see here now, it's primarily coming from mobile app vis-a-vis website. And in mobile app, if I look what is the type of customer who are actually giving me the most sales, it's coming from working professional. And from working professional, if I split most of the categories of the sales that are coming from is electronics and home kitchen. And from there, we can see a lot of these sales are getting driven from Delhi, Noida, etc. So you can even quickly shift it this way, right, by maneuvering like this. So then the first click would be by city. That's Delhi. And from Delhi, you can see it is a low value. You can go with low value as well or high value as well. And you'll be able to very quickly get a decomposition of where your actual KPI is being driven from when compared to all the athletes. And there are other, visuals as well, which is narratives. Don't know if this narrative is enabled right now. Okay, it's not enabled right now. Okay, we need Copilot for it. Okay, we can do the same thing here. And you can see here with these key influencers visualization, it's already giving you a breakdown of two attributes that we chose. So it will already try to explain what are the top segments, what are the key influencers, which category is actually driving your sales, so on and so forth. So all these different visuals are possible, and basically this is how you end up creating your content. And then finally, you would use your publish option to push it into Power BI service, and then that will help you, consume the dashboard from a web browser as well. So I just wanted to give you, this quick snippet of, how you go about building your visual. So as you saw, I did not do a single line of code, right? Any of you can do this, right? So this is just the surface. So this is basically what I would imagine a business user, a manager or someone who's non-techie, who are able to achieve by themselves. But as you spend more time, the more experience that you gain and the more familiarity that you have with the tool, you will be able to get into the advanced concepts of creating your own KPIs, creating your own measures, and then visualizing the way you want as well. Yeah. So that's on the demo part. Um, so if you are good, then I will move on to the next steps in interest of time. So what are we planning to cover as part of the actual course? In the actual course, the plan is roughly around 30 days, right? So unlike many of the courses that you would see online outside, it's a very intense, 8-hour masterclass or 4-hour masterclass. Trust me, you will go through those. You will see all the concepts that we teach as well. But day two, you will forget all those things. So it's a very, very calculated, plan that we have. That it's usually planned out for roughly around 30 days with a lot of hands-on, lot of mini projects, lot of exercises. It'll be primarily exercises, and then it's just 1 hour a day. So it's very easy. It's a very easy smaller pie for you to take out time from your day, and you just go through 1 hour a day, and by end of day 30, I can guarantee you that you will already be equipped to create your own dashboards and create your own content as well. So that's the overall plan. So week one, we'll focus on the data foundations and basics. And then week two, we'll focus on the DAX to create your own, KPIs, to create your own visuals, to create your own, complex aggregations and other things. Day three, we will focus on data modeling, how data modeling affects, especially when you're trying to ingest data from multiple different sources. And week four, we'll just round it off with, the Power BI services part, collaboration, sharing, access control, and then we'll try to do some real world exercises as well. So that's the overall plan for 30 days. Very impactful, very short time in the day. 1 hour will run like anything. It'll just quickly run away. But it's very bite sized for you to consume, and then it's like an everyday practice without subconsciously, you making out time by yourself. Try to do it on your own. So that's the overall aspect of it. Then comes the best part, which is the training portal app. So this is post training, right? So you're done with your 30-day training. And how do we keep you engaged, right? There is this app which you will get access to at the moment completely free, where you will have all the trainings that were recorded as part of your 30-day training session, which you can access it at any time that you want, right? On top of it, you have a great interface, a great app interface, where you're able to post your questions, any doubts and clarifications that you need. It'll get posted here, which our expert team will look at it and then give you the feedback, and then clear your doubts after your training period, right? And then you also have daily gamification of it, where you have quizzes, all AI powered, where you're able to take up quick short quizzes to assess yourself in terms of how much familiar are you with the Power BI concepts, that you can refresh it every day. You can take up those quizzes, and then you can also set up one-on-one sessions, and get an expert to come and clarify some of your doubts that you might have on certain concepts as well. So you can just place a request under book session, and then we'll take the look at the request, and then we'll accept the time based on our availability, and then help you to clarify those doubts as well, right? So you have this great interface that is available post training, post support completely, and a great way for you to keep in touch, and then make sure that everything stays fresh in your memory, and then completely use it until you become an expert on Power BI yourself. Confidently think that you don't need any of the support yourself. Now you're in a space where you can start teaching folks by yourself, right? So until then, this app, will be available for you. This entire experience will be available for you, and this is truly a, path-breaking experience from a training perspective. Yeah. Then I will leave you to it. So you have those 30 days of live online training, full access to that app, app.kalkitech.com. And then you have your one-on-one doubt sessions after the course completes as well. You will have a project that you can do. All the session recordings will be available to you, and will definitely help you and then support you in terms of seeking new opportunities, and just boosting up your LinkedIn profile and other things as well. Yeah. Okay. So as you see here, the course is priced at actually 30,000, but right now it's going at a discount on 15,000. So I would urge you to get the slots booked as soon as possible, because our next batch will start pretty soon, and it will happen on weekdays, right? So yeah, that's all that I had to share. I'll be happy to take up any questions, any doubts from your side that you might have now. Okay. Are there any questions at all? If no questions, then I guess we're on time, and we can just sign off for the day. Once again, thank you so much for spending your time, taking your time out to join this session. It's fine if you still have any questions. You can reach out to us over this phone number that is shared on the screen. Just WhatsApp us or call us. We'll be happy to support you on your journey.
Thanks,
Cool.
sir.
Yeah. Hi.
Thanks, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Then. Thank you so much for your time. Yeah. Hope to talk to you soon. Thank you. Take care. Bye.